Hi guys, it's Dr. Mead. This is your carbon compound test review. What you're seeing here is an old test of mine, and we're going to go through a few of these because I think that will help you. I'll try to keep it under 10 minutes for your attention span and mine. So some of these are definitely similar to the ones that are already posted on Schoology, with the addition of some where you have to recognize the shape of the carbon compound. So I hope that helps. Your test is on Tuesday, so be sure to write down the ones you have problems with so we can go over them in class tomorrow. So let's start with number 1 here. The molecule shown below is protein, lipid, carbohydrate, nucleic acid, or amino acid. So you should pause after every question to give yourself a chance to guess, and then I will give you the correct answer. All right, so pause. And that's the last time I'll say pause in that annoying way. Okay. So the answer, of course, is carbohydrate. So what kind of carbohydrate is that, do you suppose? If you said monosaccharide or glucose, ding, 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 you'd be right. All right. So maybe just as an FYI, since we're here, what's the function of a carbohydrate? The main function is short-term energy. And the other functions we talked about were the structure, like in plants, the cellulose in the cell wall, or if you're a lobster, which you're not a lobster, but if you were, chitin, which makes the hard structure on the outside of lobsters and crabs. All right. And number 2, the molecule shown below is a primary structure of a protein, secondary structure of a protein, tertiary structure of a protein, quaternary structure of a protein, or a polysaccharide. And before you have a heart attack, we didn't get into all the levels of structure of a protein yet, but we will when we talk about how proteins are made. But I wanted to show this picture just because by now you should be able to recognize that this is a protein. Okay, and for our purposes, what you need to know is what the monomer of a protein is. So what's the monomer of a protein? Amino acid, right. Good job, Lou. Of course, none of you are named Lou. Moving on. Number 3, the molecule shown below is a monosaccharide, protein, nucleic acid, DNA, or a polysaccharide. What do you think? Polysaccharide, of course, because you just saw the monosaccharide a minute ago. So this is a bunch of monosaccharides joined together, which is a polysaccharide. So it could be starch, it could be glycogen, it could be cellulose, any of those. Okay. And this one we didn't spend a ton of time on, but you can sort of tell what it is by this picture. This molecule below is carbohydrate, protein, lipid, nucleic acid, or starch. So hopefully you realize it's not a starch, since I just told you that other one could be a starch. So it's a lipid. So it's a basic fat. Remember, we showed you those long chains that couldn't be broken down if you were a saturated fat because they're all saturated with hydrogens. So that's a good example. And if you're a saturated fat, here's an extra question. Would you be solid or liquid at room temperature? Of course, none of you are a saturated fat. Okay, so you'd be solid at room temperature. Yes. Unsaturated fats like olive oil and corn oil are liquid at room temperature. Okay. Over here, number 6. This is an MCAS question, and I like to throw those in now that we're into MCAS territory. Ovalbumin is the protein found in eggs. Which of the following describes the molecular structure of ovalbumin? A group of 6 carbon atoms joined in a ring, a chain of amino acids folded, and that should say and, twisted into a molecule, a set of 3 fatty acids attached to a glycerol, a sequence of nitrogenous bases attached to a sugar phosphate backbone, or 2 carbon rings attached with a double bond. And you definitely should pause here to read those over again, especially since I read them really fast. And here's a hint. Did we talk about ovalbumin? No. Do we care what it is? No. Just circle the word that you do know. Hint, hint. This one. Okay, so what is the molecular structure of that? Okay, and it's B, a chain of amino acids, folded and twisted into a molecule. Okay, number 7. This is a really common question on MCAS. Which element is the main element in organic molecules? So this is a definition question asking you if you know the meaning of the word organic. Hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, or sulfur? Okay, it's carbon. That's what we've been talking about, carbon compounds. Okay, this one. Which of the following categories of organic molecules is correctly paired with one of its functions? Nucleic acids digest dead cells. Lipids give quick energy to cells. Carbohydrates store genetic information. Proteins provide structure in skin, hair, and nails. Okay, it's proteins. So what's the mix-up here? What's the function of nucleic acids? It's store genetic material. And lipids are not quick energy, they're long-term energy. And carbohydrates are quick energy. Okay, enzymes are proteins that assist chemical reactions, nucleic acids that transfer energy, carbohydrates that supply energy, lipids for long-term energy, waxes for protection. Okay, they're proteins, of course. And here's an extra question. What do enzymes usually, the words, what do they usually end in? ASE, like mead ace, of course. Okay. So enzymes are proteins that usually speed up chemical reactions. So they are usually reactions that are too slow to occur without them. And every cell has thousands of enzymes in it. So no cell could function without enzymes. So nothing really could live without enzymes. All right, here, glucose is a carbohydrate, a carbon compound, a monosaccharide, a sugar, all of the above. You could probably tell from my sarcastic tone, all of the above. So this is a great review question for you if you're still a little confused about carbohydrates. As is this one. Lipids include estrogen, earwax, starch, A and B, or all of the above? Tricky question. Tricky, tricky, tricky. I hope you didn't pick all of the above. Starch is not a lipid, but A and B are lipids. So lipids includes fats, waxes, and steroid hormones, estrogen and testosterone. Okay, other hormones are considered proteins, but estrogen and testosterone are considered lipids. Earwax and the wax on apples and cucumbers are lipids, as are fats and butter and all the other oils. Okay, let me pause here to find another good one. Okay, this is a great question to end with. If scientists were looking for life on other planets, what element would they be looking for? Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, or helium? You know all those helium-based life forms. Not. Okay, it's carbon, of course. All right, and the last thing I want to emphasize here about carbon is that we call carbon compounds, we also call them biomolecules, macromolecules, or organic compounds. And I will use all of those different terms because MCAS uses all of those different terms and we are preparing for that. So I hope this little review was good, and please write down any big questions you have left over. And if necessary, tomorrow I'll make you another 10-minute video that really focuses on the areas where you're stuck. Remember that you should be focusing on the 4 main carbon compounds we've been talking about: lipids, nucleic acids, proteins, and carbohydrates. You want to know the structure, function, and examples of each. I hope you have a good night and happy studying.